Welcome to your class on linear inequalities. This is an important and fairly simple topic when it comes to your board examinations. And today we'll look into the entire topic of linear inequalities and how do we solve questions correctly and quickly in this chapter. So let us start off. So firstly, what is a linear inequality? Basically, when we talk about linear inequality, what we actually mean is we mean to signify inequalities among real numbers. So, what are real numbers? Real numbers are numbers which can be represented in the number line. So, you guys are familiar with drawing a number line. So, any number that can be represented on a number line is a real number. So, in this chapter, we will deal with inequalities among them. So, equality is basically when the numbers are equal. So, we are not interested in that case. We are interested when the numbers are not equal and we need to find certain ranges related to these values. So we are interested in doing that. So let us jump into it straight. Okay. So suppose A and B belong to the real number set. So basically what this statement means is A and B are real numbers. Right? This is the belongs to symbol and this is how we represent real number set. Okay. So A and B are real numbers. So if A and B are equal, so they are basically linearly equal. So we are not interested in this case. Correct. So for any other case, when A is greater than B, when A is less than B, when A is greater than equal to B, or A is less than equal to B, we are interested in these cases. So here there is an equality sign. This is basically greater than or equal to. So A is at minimum, the value of A is B and it can be more than B, but it cannot be less than B. Okay. This signifies that the maximum value of A can be B. Correct. The maximum can be B. Okay. This signifies A has to be at least greater than B. So remember the wordings properly. It is at least greater than B. This is less than, strictly less than B. Its value can be anything, but it cannot exceed B and it cannot be B as well. Strictly less than B. This is greater than or equal to, so it is at least B and this is at most B. So, at most the value of A will be B. Here at least the value has to be B. So that's there. When you are dealing with word problems, this will come as Ram had 3 mangoes more than Sham. Here Alex had 3 apples less than Max. The salary of Sally is at least 30,000. The expenditure of a family is at most 20,000. Okay. So this is the numerical version and I also told you the wording version. Okay. So you need to remember the signs. This is a greater than, this is a less than, this is a greater than equal to, this is a less than equal to. We will be dealing with these symbols in linear inequalities. So firstly, let us look at what linear inequations are. Okay. So linear inequations. We know what linear equations are, right? So basically when x plus 2 was 3 or 2x plus 6 was equal to minus 9. This was the equality case, right? So in this case we called this as linear equations because they were linearly equal. Okay. But in this case the forms will be like this. X is less than 3, x plus 5 is at least greater than 7, it is 2x minus 3 is less than 8. Suppose x minus 3 by 2 is less than 2x plus 1. These are basically the forms where you are not definitive about a thing but you are specifically providing a range. X has to be less than 3. Now find any value of x. X plus 5 has to be at least greater than equal to 7. 2x minus 3 at least needs to be less than 8. X minus 3 by 2 needs to be less than 2x plus 1. So in earlier mathematics, where we used to find the for mensuration, basically we didn't have the actual shapes, right? So suppose this was a circle. Before pi r square was invented, they actually tried to fit a circle in, right? They actually tried to fit a rectangle in, and this area was neglected. So they told that the area of the circle is at least greater than the area of the rectangle. So that's the historical background. We use linear inequations when we are not definitive about a solution, but we know the range, that it has to be greater than this, has to be less than this, and so on. Right? Now, the specific form is ax plus b is not equal to 0. Right? This is the specific form. Right? Talking about mathematical form, this is the form. Right? So a can be anything, b can be anything, but not zeros. Right? B can be 0, but A cannot be 0. So if A is 0, this basically means that B is not equal to 0. This no longer is a inequation. This is basically a statement, right? So B is greater than 3, right? 2 is greater than 3. What sense does it make? It makes no sense, right? So you need a unknown term. So A cannot be 0, and this has to be of the form. It can be ax plus b is greater than 0. It can be less than 0, less than equal to, greater than equal to, anything. Okay, fine. Now, there are two sets. One is a replacement set and one is a solution set. Now, I will not bore you guys with the definition. Let us just simply understand using an example. Suppose I give you a statement that x should be less than 4. Okay, and I give you a range of values. I give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, dot dot dot. I give you till 10. Now, I tell you that this is your replacement set. What that basically means is you need to replace the value of x in this equation, in this inequation, by these values. Replace x by 1, by 2, and by 3, and by 4. You need to replace by these values, right? So a replacement set is basically the values of variables, correct, are chosen from this set, correct? Now, what's a solution set? A solution set is basically a subset of this replacement set where the values actually satisfy the equation. So here in the replacement set we are just choosing values, right? If I choose 6 is less than equal to 4, 6 is less than 4, is this correct? No, it is not correct, right? So it will not be a part of a solution set. But if I choose 1, 2 and 3, 1 is less than 4, correct, 2 is less than 4, correct, 3 is less than 4, correct, any other value here in this set is not correct, right? So the solution set here is 1, 2 and 3. Basically what you need to know is the solution set. You don't no need to be concerned about this replacement set. Just know what a solution set is. Solution set is a set of values for which the inequation is valid. Okay, when you substitute the value of x by any value in the solution set, the inequality will give you a correct inference. Okay, right. Now we looked into the form of a linear inequation. We looked into how do we write it, how do we understand it. Now let us understand how to solve one linear inequation. As far as your syllabus is concerned, you have only one variable, linear inequations. You don't need two variables here. You just need one variable, linear inequations. Okay. So solving one variable. Your unknown variable, you will have one unknown variable in the entire inequation and you need to solve for that. So the steps are, let me first write down the steps and then I will explain. So explain it using an example. So for addition and subtraction, just remember this rule. There is this thing that if you add or subtract a constant or anything for that matter from both sides of the inequation, the inequation still remains valid. Okay? So x is greater than 10, right? So if I subtract x 2 from both the sides, this is still valid, right? X minus 2 is greater than 8, right? This is still valid. Now this is in basic algebra. What you did is, when you had two side LHS and RHS of an equation, x minus 2 is 6. What you guys did is, you took this to the other side and you changed the signs. So the mathematical reason behind it is, you added 2 to both the sides. So x minus 2 plus 2 became 0, and this 6 plus 2 became 8. So in mathematics, you don't just take things from one place and put it to the other place. There's a reason behind it. We are actually adding and subtracting the same term from both sides. And in this case, here, if you do so, the inequality still remains valid without any change. Okay. Second thing, multiplication and division. Now here there is a catch. So when you are multiplying or dividing both sides by a constant or anything for that matter, so you are multiplying with, suppose you are multiplying with y, this will remain valid. Now when y is a positive number, the equation will be valid. Okay, so suppose I am multiplying 2 times x, that will be greater than 20, right? So that basically boils down to x is greater than 10, right? If you cancel off 2's from both sides. So when you are multiplying and when you are dividing, suppose you have 2x greater than 20, you are dividing both sides by 2. When you are doing it with a positive number, the equation remains valid. Inequation remains valid. There is no change. Okay. But if y is a negative number, you need to change signs. So if you have minus 2 times x, if you give this as minus 20, this is not true. This cannot be true. If x is greater than 10, suppose I take the value of x as 11, right? I take the value as 11. So this is minus 22 and this is minus 20. Is minus 22 greater than minus 20? No, right? Because minus 20 is more closer to 0 than minus 22. So this is not true. So whenever you are multiplying or dividing by a negative number, you need to remember this. This is very important and perhaps the only trickiest part in this chapter. So when you are multiplying or dividing by a negative term, you need to reverse the symbols, right? Reverse the symbols. What that basically means is, you are multiplying x is greater than 10 by minus 2. What you do is, minus 2x is less than minus 20. If this was here, it was greater than equal to, this would be less than equal to. So if there is a greater than sign, replace with a less than sign. If there is a greater than equal to, replace it with less than equal to, and vice versa. Okay. Okay. With that said and done, these are all the concepts that you need to know about solving one linear equation. Now, once the background is set, you know how algebra works, right? Addition and subtraction, multiplication and division. Addition, subtraction, no change. Multiplication, division by positive number, no change. A negative number, it just reverses the symbols of inequalities. Okay. Now, what is the procedure? How do you go about solving a complex inequality? Okay. The first step is simplify, right? Remove fractions, remove any simplify, reduce it to the lowest form, and you are done. Okay. First simplify, then isolate the variable. What it means is, you suppose have 2x minus 3 by 4 greater than 8. So firstly simplify it. 2x minus 3 is greater than 32. Now what I mean by isolating is, you will just have the variable on one side and all the other terms on the other side. So 2x is greater than 35. This is isolating. So you have x on the one side and you have the other part of the inequation on the other side. Isolate, and the thing is not yet over. Isolate, and after isolating, make the coefficient of the variable as 1. Now this is important. This is important and fairly intuitive, right? After you isolate, it becomes 2x is greater than 35. So you make this you need to make this coefficient 1. Okay, so what do you do is you divide both sides by 2. So in this case x is greater than 35 by 2, and there is your answer. Firstly, you need to simplify, reduce everything, convert it to the reduced form. After that, isolate. Yeah, after isolating, just make the coefficient 1. Okay, that's the steps to solve. Now with practice, this becomes even more easier, and this is a theoretical concept. You don't need to just abide by this. What you need to do is just given an equation, make it such that x is on one side and the other part is on the other side. Then what you do is just bring this k this side. Okay, just divide it by k, correct, and you are sorted. Okay, now let us basically look into certain things, certain questions, some tricky questions that may let us possibly look at all types of questions, and then let us decide. Okay, okay, so let us start with typical questions that are asked from this chapter. So the first question type is, suppose you have this. I'm not going with the very basic ones because they are fairly simple. X is greater than 2 minus 3, so x is greater than minus 1. I'm not going with that kind of questions. So let me start off with fairly medium type questions, and then we'll move into hard questions, right? Now, so this is the question. They are given. They have given you a linear inequation of this type. They have mentioned that x is belonging to natural number set. What are natural numbers? Basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and up to infinity. Integers basically, not fractions. Okay, they are natural numbers, and you need to plot the solution set on a number line. So first step is solving this, right? Now I told you is bring the x on one side, bring the other terms on the other side. Okay, so this is the minus 2 here. If I bring that to this side, it becomes x plus 2x minus 12 is like this. So 3x minus 12, 3 plus 12. Now you are done with this isolation. So 3x is less than equal to 15, right? From here it comes to here. So x is less than equal to 5, right? X is less than equal to 5. Now how do you plot it on the number line? You have, so you have like this, 5, 6. Sorry, this is not up to scale, but you understand it anyway. Now you need to encircle this. So now I am doing it with different colors, but in your question paper or your answer scripts, you don't have different colors, just encircle it darker, right? Now this is the plotting of the scene. Okay, now let us look at the next question. So the question is basically same. In all questions you need to find the solution and you need to plot it on the number line. Okay, now it is given. So this is involving fractions. 2x plus 1 by 3 is greater than or equal to 3x minus 2 by 5, right? And they're telling you that x is belonging to real number set. Now real number set is fractions, numbers, everything that can be plotted on the number line. Okay, fine. First thing, simplify. So how do you simplify? And just cross multiply here. So you have 10x. Okay, I will not step jump. 5 into 2x plus 1 is greater than or equal to 3 into 3x minus 2. Correct? So 10x plus 5 is greater than or equal to 9x minus 6. Bring the x terms one side. So 10x minus 9x is x, and bring it this side. So minus 6 and minus 5 is minus 11. Okay, on simplification you will find this. Now once you are done, see, now this is a real number set, right? So you cannot actually plot out everything when a number is belonging to a real number set. Basically what I mean is between 1 and 2 you have 1.01, you have 1.0001. So you have infinite numbers in between 1 and 2. So what you do is just plot the boundary values. So you have minus 11, plot a minus 11 here, 0, and then it continues, right? It continues. You don't need to plot everything, just plot it till like this. Okay, just plot these two values. Now what you do is you start encircling from here and you draw a straight line, right? you darken this, okay, you encircle this darker, correct? This is your solution set. Now what this darkened line means is all the points in this range is basically a solution set, okay? So every number is included. This is the way of representing, okay, fine. Now let us look at one more question from this type. Now this is another type. This is basically where two inequations are clubbed together and given as a single question, right? So this is your question, and they have specified that x is belonging to real number set, okay? So how do you go about solving this problem? So the thing is, you need to divide it into two problems. This is one problem and this is one problem, okay? Firstly, let me do is, firstly, in order to simplify, you need to make this term into a simplified version. So take the LCM, and this is the thing, right? Correct? This is this thing, right? So before segregating into two problems, what we are doing is we are simplifying this. Now, if we multiply 5, if we just cancel off 5 from here, and from here, so basically we are left with minus 1 is less than equal to 3x plus 10 by 2 and is less than 2, right? This is a simplified form, okay? Now what you do is you divide it into two parts, right? This is one equation, inequation, and this is one inequation. No need to be, you know, don't be scared about how to tackle such a problem because two are given on the same problem. Just decompose into two different values, okay? So you have this is minus 2 is less than equal to 3x plus 10. So 3x is greater than equal to minus 12. So x is greater than equal to minus 4. X is greater than equal to minus 4. Correct? Okay. Here you have 3x plus 10 is less than 4. So 3x is less than minus 6. X is less than minus 2. So when you are plotting in your number lines, now see, you have a minus 4, you have, suppose you have a minus 3 here somewhere, you have minus 3 here, you have minus 2, you have 0, okay? So suppose this is your number line, right? Now how do you represent? So x is greater than or equal to 4. So if I take a value 4 or greater, this will, so when you're dealing with negative numbers, greater numbers are towards 0, okay? Always when you are, see, the sign greater than basically means move right in the number line, okay? So always when finding greater numbers, move towards the right. Darken this up till here. Now if I put the value of 2, it won't satisfy. So I will not use a dark circle. I will use a hollow circle, right? So it is every value till 2, but 2 is not included. Basically you have minus 4 till minus 2, where minus 2 is not included, right? This is the interval. So when a point is included, encircle it with a solid circle, and when it is not, so encircle using a hollow circle, okay? Fine. So this is one type of a tricky question. It basically is to uh, trick you guys on this concept, but if you have this concept in a simplified approach, this doesn't make any problem, okay? So let us look at one more problem. Now in this problem, up till here you had basically been given the equation and you needed to solve the equation in order to get the values, but now they can trick you guys by giving you a essay type question. So let us look at this essay type question. You guys actually make errors in this part because after knowing a concept, they also know that you will be able to solve a question. So how to make the question more difficult? Put it into words. So if you cannot figure out the words properly, you will form a wrong equation, you will simplify the wrong equation, you will get the wrong results. So it is very important to analyze this type of questions properly and to get a proper solution. So it is given that one third of an integer such that one third of the next integer is at least 2 more than 1/4 of the previous integer, right? Now it is asking you to find the smallest value, mind it, the smallest value of integer, right? That satisfies the constraint, obviously. Okay. So firstly, they are asking you to find this integer, right? So let the value be x, right? Let the value be x. Okay. This is how you tackle the problem. Now it is given that 1/3 of the next integer. So you have 1/3 of the next integer is x plus 1. The next integer is x plus 1. You add 1 to it. 1/3 of that, okay, is at least 2 more than. So it is more than something. Is at least more than. So greater than or equal to 2. It is at least more than what? 1/4 of the previous integer. So what is 1/4 of the previous integer? This is x minus 1 by 4, right? X minus 1 by 4. X minus 1 is the previous integer, 1/4 of this. X plus 1 is the next integer, 1/3 of this. So this is this integer, this thing is at least 2 more than. So if you have a difference, this difference will either result in 2 or a number greater than equal to 2. Okay. So you have this equation. Now your equation is basically formed. Now it is a fairly simple task for you guys to solve this equation. We'll just solve it quickly. So is greater than or equal to 2. So 4x and 4 minus 3x plus 3 is greater than or equal to 24, and you have x is greater than or equal to 70, right? X is greater than or equal to 70. Now what you guys do is, after solving it till here, you make this as the answer. But this is not the answer. The question had asked you for the smallest value of the integer. So I need to give the minimum value. So this is telling me that x is greater than or equal to 70. So what is the minimum value of x? So this basically tells me that x is either 17 or is more than 17. So the minimum value of x is, it cannot be less than 17, it is at least 17, right? So the minimum value is 17. This is your answer. It's a single valued answer. You cannot give a inequality as an answer when they are basically asking for the smallest value. They are asking for a specific value. So you need a specific value in the answer. Okay. Keep this thing in mind, right? So this basically covers up all the concepts that you need. We will actually take up one more question that will clear all the doubts. There is no other question that can come from this chapter. So this is the last type of question that can come. This is actually a tricky question, so I want you guys to first read the question, then possibly pause the screen for try to solve it on your own. If you can't, then resume the video. Right? Let me first complete the question. Uh, Let me complete the question. First, 1/4 of second, 1/5 of third is at most 25. So the question has asked you to find three largest consecutive natural numbers, such that the sum of 1/3 of the first number, 1/4 of the second number, and 1/5 of the third number is at most 25. Okay, there are many keywords here. First, try and pause the screen, try to solve it on your own. If you can't, just resume the video. Okay. Okay. So I guess you have tried on your own. So let us check whether your answer is correct. Okay. Firstly, it has asked you for three consecutive natural numbers. Okay. So let the numbers be x, x plus 1, and x plus 2. Correct? Three consecutive natural numbers. Right? Now it is given that 1/3 of x, 1/4 of x plus 1, and 1/5 of x plus 2. this sum is at most 25. What does at most mean? It is either less than 25 or is at most equal to 25. It cannot be greater than 25. Okay. Now, this is your equation. Inequation. After forming the inequation, it is really simple. You just take the LCM, and this becomes 20x plus 15 times x plus 1 and 12 times x plus 2, and this is basically less than equal to 25, so this comes out to 20x plus 15x plus 15 plus 12x plus 24 is less than equal to 1500, right? So 1500, this is 47x plus 39, it is less than 1500, right? Okay, sorry, 47x is either is less than or equal to 1461. So if you solve this, it will come as x is less than equal to 31 4 by 47, right? This will come as this. So what you guys do is, this is the answer and the question is done. No, this is not the answer. They have asked you for 3 consecutive integers. Okay, so they have also told you to find the largest, right? Largest. So this is basically a keyword, because what is the maximum possible value of x? What is the closest integer? So see, the maximum integral value of x is 31, right? Because this is 31 4 by 47, it has not reached 32 yet, and this is greater than 31, so it is somewhere in between 31 and 32. So you have an option, this is an integer, 31 is an integer that will satisfy. So this is the maximum integer possible, so your answer should be 31, 32 and 33. They are basically the 3 consecutive natural numbers whose sum is at most 25. The sum of these terms at most 25. So you have 31, 32 and 33. Okay. So this is how you tackle problems. I have shown you short tricks. I have shown you the actual methods. We have talked about the linear inequations, how they are formed, how they are solved, and everything about this. This completes of your chapter, and this is actually enough for your boards and as far as your competitive exams are concerned. So I guess you had fun. Meet you in the next class.